One of the most famous games in the world is chess. It is talked about. There are grandmasters, there are tricks, there are themed Simpson sets of chess around. As a child, I decided that I would become good at chess. I went and read books on the subject. I went and played people and got destroyed. I played against computers and got destroyed. When they came out with a new computer, one of the first programs on it was usually a chess game, which would destroy me. I got tired of getting destroyed in these games. But chess is an abstract game in which you have your pieces and you are using pure brains, no luck, no nothing, to destroy your opponent. It is a fantastic game, and many people consider it to be the best of its kind. I don't necessarily agree with those people. I think chess is a fine game, but I think there are games that people might like better. Here's 10 of them. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that chess is a bad game. I think a lot of people like it, but if you like chess, I think that maybe you should broaden your horizons and try out a lot of other games. For example, I would recommend The Duke. The Duke is a game in which your pieces are square wooden tiles, and they show you how they move. So, like a chess piece, but they all move in different ways, and they have kind of unusual movements. They might move diagonally forward or one backward, and then after you move the piece, you flip it over and it will have a different set of movements on it. So you have different interesting pieces that are coming out at random times. There's a slight bit more randomness than chess, but also a lot of deep, interesting play in The Duke. Yinch is a two-player abstract strategy game with beautiful components, and the whole goal of this game is to get 5 of your color in a row. There's a lot of games where you try to get 5 in a row. Yinch does that by moving pieces around the board strategically, and you jump over the white and black pieces in the middle. But whenever you jump over a piece, it will change to the other color. So sometimes you are forced to change your own color pieces to get yours into better attacking position. One of my favorite games, it's beautiful, and it's not as simple as it looks, Yinch. From the same designer and publisher, there's Devon. Now in Devon, you're moving around stacks of tiles, trying to control these different stacks and seeing how far they can move based on the number of pieces in the pile and capturing special pieces. It's another game that just looks gorgeous, and at the beginning is a big setup of pieces, and it seems like there's a lot of freedom, and as the game goes by, you have fewer and fewer movements. Very, very tactical game. If you like chess, I think you will also enjoy Devon, as strangely as it's spelled. Samurai is possibly if you want to play a game like this, but maybe the Samurai I think works best with 3 players. In Samurai, you have little pieces that look almost like licorice pieces and things, and you're placing them on a board. That's pretty much it, using cards to place these pieces out. But you are trying to surround cities and get the most points, but you don't want the most of any one particular city. You want to have the most of as many as you can, kind of spread out your points. It has a beautiful theming of Japanese and samurai, but that theme is really just there for show. The game is very abstract and very, very strategic and tactical as you place these pieces on the board. Santorini is a game that just came out this year where you have only a few pieces to move around, and your goal is to get onto the 3rd level of a building with a beautiful 3D board, and just as you're placing these pieces out and stacking them in different spots and then trying to set them up to move your pieces to the top. The game is augmented by the fact that you can then play where each player has a special ability that only they can do or a special victory condition. All this, just a few rules in the game, still comes together to make a very highly strategic game and back and forth, but it's also very quick many times, and you can set it up and play again with other special abilities. Onitama is like chess, but short and small. In Onitama, each player has a certain number of pieces, and your goal is to capture your opponent's leader or to get your own leader across the board in their spot. You do this with 5 cards. All your pieces have the same chess-like moves, but you can only use a move if it's on a card in front of you. You start with 2 cards. When you move a piece using one of those cards, that card is switched with the middle card, which means that card is now going to go to your opponent. So every time you use maybe a forward diagonal move, you know your opponent might be able to do that. And unlike chess, sometimes none of their pieces will be able to move because they don't have the right card at that point in time, but they might have it soon if you use it. It's a quick game, but fun, and there's a lot of depth there. Also, it's a very beautiful theme and production, Onitama. Kamisato is a really fun game. What if you played with all queens? That's what Kamisato feels like. Each piece that you have can move as far forward or as far diagonally forward as you want them to move. You don't capture pieces in Kamisado. Instead, if you get one piece on your opponent's line, you win. When you move a piece, it's going to land. You can stop it anywhere you want. And the spot that it lands on is the color piece that your opponent moves. So if I land on a blue space, you now move your blue piece. You move to a green space, I now move my green piece, and you're trying to set it up so your opponent is forced to land on a space to let you win. Pretty deep game, a lot of fun, Kamisado. Tak is a new game that just came out based on the Name of the Wind series from Patrick Rothfuss. This is a game in which you are trying to form rows by moving pieces around the board. It has the feeling of a classic. It looks like a game that came out in, a long time ago, which I think is what they were trying to do, to put it into this Name of the Wind series. But the game itself just plays really well. It just came out last year. As you're trying to put these pieces out and move them around, games can be quick. Games can be played in a very small space or larger space. Definitely want to check out Tak. Glux is a game from Queen Games, and in this game you are trying to have the most pieces in these areas to control those areas to win. And you're moving these pieces by the numbers that are on their chip. So if I put out a piece with a 2, the next time I can put a piece that is 2 away from that spot. So I might put a 5 that's 2 away from that spot, but then that 5, the next piece has to be 5 away. So you're thinking carefully as you place each piece, how does this allow me to place pieces in the future? How powerful is this piece to control this area? And it also has a cool looking feel, looks like little lights on a board to some degree, Glux. And finally, this is not necessarily a game, but it's a system, and that's Pyramid Arcade. Pyramid Arcade is from Looney Labs production, and they make these little plastic pyramids in 3 different sizes and many different colors. These can be used to play a variety of games, and the Pyramid Arcade comes with many of those games. Some of them are dexterity stacking games, and some are a little bit of war game, but there's a lot of abstract strategy games too, where I'm moving my pieces. They have one where all your pieces can move like a queen, but you can only move a piece when it's on your side of the board. As soon as you move and capture a piece on the opponent's side of the board, that is now their piece. Very intriguing games on a lot, and this is one I'd recommend anyone who likes chess because it gives so much variety. Chess is a great game, and many people have dedicated their lives to studying it and learning how to play it, and that's fine. But if you ever want to break and maybe want to play something different and unique, and in my opinion, slightly better than chess, I'd recommend checking these games out. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.